Welcome to the 8th and final Tourism Australia and Virtuoso webinar on the great Australian experiences and destinations. My name is Quentin Long and I'm the co-founder of Australian Traveller and International Traveller, and I'm your host today. It's my great pleasure to be with you. Today we're going to do a great journey on the great golf courses of Australia, and I'll give you a bit of a look inside one of the newer hotels in Australia that you probably haven't seen or heard of. It's so relatively new. Look, if you do have a connection issue, don't worry, you can use the same link to log back in. It's not like Mission Impossible and it won't self-destruct in 10 seconds. Also, if you do have problems getting back in, your Virtuoso Travel Advisor will be able to send you a link of today's session. Second on the housekeeping is I'm not here for my own amusement. I'm here to try and make sure you find your next great Aussie experience. And so that means I want to hear questions and see questions from you. So please use the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen to submit your questions. Now, look, as a guy, I can't multitask, so I can't answer questions and host this webinar at the same time. So the Virtuoso team will be answering those questions. And if we don't get to your question, your Virtuoso Travel Advisor will be able to help you out because they are a wealth of knowledge, as you well know. So that's it for housekeeping. Our tea time has arrived. It's time to go golfing. Australia is blessed with some of the greatest golf courses in the world. We actually have 9 of the top 100 right here in Australia. But even more impressive to me is that our golf courses are in our great iconic destinations. So think about the hottest domestic destination right now, Tasmania. It has 2 or 3 of the great golf courses of Australia. Places like the Whitsundays, places like the Outback, the lovely coastal areas of the Mornington Peninsula, all these great destinations that are a holiday in their own right also have great golf courses that you can experience. So whether you're under 10 handicapper or whether your handicap is your swing like me, then you'll be able to find a great golf experience to accompany your holidays as you travel around this great country. So I suppose my main message is, you don't have to be an incredible golfer. It's for everybody who wants to get out and see the great Australian landscape. Now, to take us through the great golf courses of Australia, we need a guide, and actually more appropriately, I think we need a caddy. And so today we're going to have Elizabeth Sattler, who's also called Biz, well, mostly called Biz, who's going to be our caddy through the great golf courses of Australia. Hey, Biz.
Hi, Quentin. Thank you for having me.
It's great to be with you. You come from a long family of golf nuts.
Well, not golf nuts per se, but certainly have been in the golf industry for a long time. My parents were actually involved in tourism for a very long time, and I suppose you could say they still are. And about 15 years ago, we actually developed 2 golf courses on our family property down in Tasmania, and you might know them. They're called Barnbougle Dunes and Barnbougle Lost Farm, and we're very lucky to have been able to have access to some amazing golf architects, and as such, those golf courses are both rated in the World Top 100. So it's a pretty special place. And let me just tell you, golf wasn't really the industry I saw myself going into, but I guess you just have to take what you can get and go with the flow.
Yeah, well, it seems to run in the family. Now, you've got a great presentation for us today, so I'll let you get on with it.
Great, thank you. I'm just going to share my screen here. And what we're going to do today is just have a little bit of a chat about some of the amazing golf experiences that we have here in Australia, and also some of the other experiences that you can do around golf, because luckily for everybody, golf is only a part of a day experience, so you can go and do other things around it, and that's especially beneficial if you're traveling with non-golfing partners. So let's get started. A little bit about great golf courses of Australia. I thought the best way to introduce golf in Australia and the product that we have to offer was through this pretty specky little video that we've had created. So I'll play that for you now.
From the day's first light to the fading dusk, the spirit of adventure calls. A shared pursuit beckons, an escape to big skies and new horizons. Home to over 1,500 courses and year-round playing weather, golf is a large part of the great active Aussie lifestyle. Across Australia, from coast and countryside to capital city, your journey awaits. A journey that ventures to championship layouts, remote coastal links, and the famed courses of the World Top 100. Our fairways take in some of this country's most incredible natural scenery. From deserts, arms-fringed islands, and celebrated wine regions, to the prestigious clubs of the great Melbourne Sandbelt. With routes designed by some of the most famous architects in the game, 9 of the world's top 100 courses and venues that have hosted some of the world's most prestigious events. Golf in Australia is the opportunity to explore some of the best public and private courses on the planet, with scenery to match. So come, walk in the footsteps of your heroes and experience golf like nowhere else in the world.
So Great Golf Courses of Australia is a collection of Australia's most prestigious private and public access golf courses. This includes 9 courses that are rated in the World Top 100, and I'm sure you've heard of many of these. Royal Melbourne, of course, is the jewel in the crown. Kingston Heath, the National Old Course, the 2 Barnbougle courses, Cape Wickham, New South Wales Golf Course, Royal Adelaide, and Elliston is actually in there as well. But unfortunately, Elliston is Mr. Packer's private golf course, and I don't have a direct line to him. So at the moment, we are not going to talk too much about Elliston, but we will touch on the other golf courses and some of the courses around them and some of the experiences around these. So we have members of the Great Golf Courses of Australia all across the country. One of the wonderful things about this collection is it really provides access to golf courses that you may never have been able to get onto individually. So because we work with your Virtuoso agents, we can actually access some of the most private and prestigious clubs, including Royal Melbourne, New South Wales, and the courses of the Melbourne Sandbelt. So today, firstly, we're going to take you to Tasmania, the land of the links. So for those that aren't across the golf experiences in Tasmania at the moment, it's very much focused on really world-class links golf courses. And we do know that Tasmania can be a little bit wild and dramatic, but this really lends itself to fantastic links land. So here we have a photo of King Island. The golf course there is called Cape Wickham, spectacular golf course, also rated in the top 100 in the world. King Island is just a short flight from Melbourne, and there are flights that go directly in there from both Moorabbin Airport and on Rex, and they go into Launceston and Devonport airports as well. So you can get straight from King Island to Tasmania. We also have on the mainland of Tasmania, Barnbougle Dunes and the Lost Farm that we've sort of touched on already. Again, 2 World Top 100 links courses, spectacular scenery. And we do work with private charter companies that can actually provide a link from Melbourne to King Island and then straight onto an airstrip at Barnbougle. So if you're looking to do that triangle between around the Bass Strait, that's a wonderful option, a private jet, a seats 8, which is great for groups of golfers travelling together because they tend to play in groups of 4. And it's a wonderful way to do it without having to worry about the driving in between and, of course, the logistics of getting between the airports. In addition to golf on Tasmania, the wonderful thing about Barnbougle in particular, given it's on mainland Tasmania, is its proximity to some other great attractions. So up here we have Clover Hill and the Tamar River wine region, which is about 25 minutes from Barnbougle, on-site accommodation in that top picture there, and dining facilities, and then of course the spectacular Bay of Fires, which is World Heritage listed area, and that is about 25 minutes from Barnbougle as well. So as you can see, a lot of things to fill your day if you don't want to be playing 2 rounds of golf all day every day, but also great things for non-golfing partners or family members to be able to do as well while you're out there battling the links. Another new product that we're actually started working with in conjunction with Ultimate Winery Experiences and Cultural Experiences of Australia are golf, art and wine experiences by private jet. So this is a new itinerary that your Virtuoso agent will be able to assist you in booking, but essentially it takes you from Melbourne to Barnbougle to play golf. Golf at Barnbougle on day 2, and then day 3 is a private jet. Again, you jump back in that private jet and direct to Hobart to have a wine tasting experience and a cultural experience at Mona before departing back to Melbourne. So a pretty special one, especially for those who perhaps had planned escapes overseas to celebrate milestone birthdays or special events. This is a really nice little itinerary that you can do, the best that Tasmania has to offer. So now we're going to move right up to the north and we'll be looking at Hamilton Island. So Hamilton Island has an amazing golf course called Dent Island, which is just a 10-minute ferry ride from the main Hamilton Island location. For those that haven't been to Hamilton Island, you can actually fly in and out directly. They have got an airport there that is serviced by a number of airlines. And of course, the beauty of Hamilton Island is the ability to do all that Hamilton Island has to offer. The Whit Sundays, accommodation at Qualia, spa experiences, fishing. So you can really plan your trip around a couple of rounds of golf and then plenty of things to do throughout the day or when it's a little bit too hot to be playing golf. So nice morning round of golf and then perhaps a trip out to explore some of the islands. We're going to jump back down now to the Melbourne Sandbelt. So for those that have not heard of the Melbourne Sandbelt before, the Melbourne Sandbelt is a group of 8 golf courses located just 30 minutes out of Melbourne CBD. And this strip of land is very, very well known to be one of the most prestigious golfing destinations in the world, not just in Australia. So we're extremely lucky to have this here. It is home to a number of very private courses that you may have heard of: Royal Melbourne, Kingston Heath, Metropolitan, and many of these golf courses have also hosted very well-known Australian and international tournaments. So you can see here a beautiful picture of Royal Melbourne and actually Melbourne City in the background, which really shows the close proximity of these 8 golf courses to the Melbourne CBD. And again, an amazing opportunity for those travelling with non-golfing partners to be able to explore Melbourne City, dine in the amazing restaurants, and of course, have a spot of shopping while their partners may be out playing golf. And for those who do want to play golf and explore Melbourne at the same time, of course, there's ample opportunity to make the most of your time on the golf course and then dine in the restaurants that you've got on your bucket list of an evening. And then further down, also staying in Victoria, we have got the Mornington Peninsula. So spectacular location of the Mornington Peninsula. About an hour, 15 minutes drive. There's actually a new freeway that goes all the way from Melbourne straight down, which has cut the drive time down a little bit, which is fabulous. And the Mornington Peninsula is home to the National Golf Club and of course some fabulous winery experiences down on the Mornington as well. So the National Golf Club has 3 golf courses in its facility and each of those are available for play, and the beautiful coastal views, and again looking more towards that links experience as opposed to those city experiences which are a little bit more of a heathland or a championship course type of layout. You are a little bit more so subject to weather down on the Mornington Peninsula though than you might have been in Melbourne. And of course, wonderful thing about the Mornington Peninsula is the proximity to amazing wineries, fabulous dining experiences, and of course, great accommodation. So that picture there is of Jackalope, a great weekend itinerary or a weekend escape down to the Mornington Peninsula for some accommodation, wining and dining, and of course, a spot of golf. New South Wales. So New South Wales is home to 2 amazing golf courses that we work with. New South Wales Golf Club, which you can see pictured in this image here, which is also rated in the top 100 in the world, and the Lakes Golf Course, which we have pictured on this page here. And of course, the beauty of New South Wales is that both golf courses are located very close to the CBD, and that means that, again, we've got all these opportunities to have other experiences around your golf. So the Lakes Golf Course is about 15 minutes from the CBD and really only 5 or 10 minutes from Sydney Airport. So it's out in that Lakelands area there. And so also great if you're flying into Sydney and looking for a round of golf or something to do while you're waiting for check-in at the hotel. And of course, New South Wales Golf Course located out at La Perouse there, which is very close to the city centre as well, a little bit further, about 25 minutes, but it does mean that you can come back and have a sunset cruise experience on, you know, the most famous of harbours, Sydney Harbour, or an experience at the Opera House afterwards. And now we're going to move inland a little bit to South Australia. South Australia, we work with 3 fabulous golf courses in South Australia: Royal Adelaide, Kooyonga and The Grange. Each of these golf courses actually hosts the Honda Australian Women's Open. So they do that on a rotating routing. So each course will have an opportunity to host once every 3 years. And of course, the golf courses in South Australia also private member golf courses, and once more some amazing experiences to have around those South Australian golfing opportunities. So you can venture into the centre, the Red Centre, and see some of the spectacular scenery and stars that you didn't know even existed, beautiful winery experiences up at the Clare Valley and the Barossa Valley, and of course you've got the wonderful destination of Kangaroo Island and the wildlife experiences down there. A few things just to consider when you're looking at planning your trip. I would consider weather at different times of the year. One of the great things about golf in Australia is obviously you can play all year round. However, of course, if you're playing up on Hamilton Island, there is a wet season and it's going to be quite humid and hot up there at certain times of the year. On the flip side, Tasmania is a great alternative when Hamilton Island is probably not playing quite at its best, and vice versa. Tassie does tend to get a little bit cold in the winter and a little bit more rugged and dramatic in its weather. And so Sydney and north of Victoria tends to be a great option for that winter weather in Tasmania. So the June, July, August period. Some other considerations are just making sure that you have a handicap available to access some of those private golf clubs, but we will work with your agent to be able to help facilitate all that information so you have it ready to go and we can help you plan an experience of a lifetime. And of course, our website there and our social media handle. If you are looking at some more inspiration, please do jump on and have a look there. We have some amazing example itineraries that you can have a look at and use as a base to talk to your agent about developing for yourself or customizing. We have some beautiful imagery and video on there, and some great tips on other things to do in the area when you've finished playing your rounds of golf. And I think that's all from me at the moment, Quentin.
Well done, Biz. That was fantastic. You've totally inspired me to pull out my Callaways, dust off the shoes and go and hit a few balls. But unfortunately, it takes balls to play golf the way I do. And there's your dad joke. But thanks, Biz. That was fantastic. If you are not a golf nut, I don't know what is. But that has totally inspired me. And I'm sure it's inspired everybody out there to contact your travel advisor and say, hey, here's a few courses I'd love to go and see, what, go and play on. What can we do? Qualia, I've got to say, is worth it. I've had the great fortune to be there. And so if you can connect Qualia and Dent Island, it will be heaven on earth. But thank you so much, Biz.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So at the beginning, I said I was going to preview or share with you one of the Virtuoso members that is relatively new on the Australian scene. It's the Ritz-Carlton Perth. It only opened in November 2019 and is the first, it's the return of the Ritz-Carlton to Australia. And it's still the only Ritz-Carlton that we have in this great country. It's located perfectly at Elizabeth Quay, so you can be at the hotel for business and then make a long weekend of it because it is on the river and you get to explore the whole of what Perth has to offer. It's a great 5-star luxury accommodation, big rooms, incredible pool with views of the city and the river, and a great terrace area as well. And as you'd expect, a restaurant that celebrates the great WA produce. You know, you probably get some marron and great Chardonnay from the Margaret River on the menu. But that's just what I have to say. We've got a great video to share with you that'll give you a preview of it in case I quite haven't captured enough for you. Wow, that gives you a great sense of what to expect from the Ritz-Carlton in Perth. And obviously, as part of the Virtuoso membership, you'll be able to access even additional benefits when you book through your Virtuoso travel advisor. Unfortunately, that brings us to a close, not just for today's webinar, but for the entire series. So far, we've had 8 of these Tourism Australia and Virtuoso webinars exploring the great destinations of Australia. And they've all included one of the 8 signature experiences of Australia, which is a collection of the most prestigious and exclusive tours, properties, and experiences that one can have here in this great country. So if you have missed out and you wanted to actually see if see what you've missed out on, there are 7 others that you can experience. There's the luxury lodges of Australia, Australian wildlife journeys, great fishing adventures, great walks of Australia, the discovering of Aboriginal Australia, ultimate winery experiences, and the cultural attractions of Australia. Your Virtuoso advisor does have links to all those webinars, so I'd encourage you to reach out and say, hey, I'm really interested in perhaps the ultimate winery experiences, the great fishing adventures, and they'll be able to send you the links so that you can enjoy them as well and plan out those happy travels that you're looking forward to in 2021 and 2022. On that note, it's been my great pleasure to be your host today. My name's Quentin Long, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Happy travels.